Look, look at this guy. It's like I'm sending him off to school. Brush all his hair out, just nice. Off to school you go there, young lad. I wanted to talk briefly. I was just working on brushing and I realized, actually, that I've only just barely sort of gone about messing around with his tail. And if you watch here, if I kind of touch in here, you can see how sort of flinchy he is. He's a little bit tight at the moment. I've been at it a little bit. You can see his tail is a smidge better. Still got a few bits of tangles and stuff that exist. Anyways, but I was working on this and he sort of ran away a little, and I thought, geez, I've never actually really brushed his tail. And even now he's a bit pinchy. I don't know if you can tell how tight he's sort of, if I try to lift his tail, you see it's kind of stiff to lift. And we don't want him thinking about anything like that. It's normal. I'm sure that I suppose if I had a tail and somebody was doing this, I'd be like, hey, no touching, makes me worried. But it's kind of a little bit of a gap. I'm going to do a video a little later more on gaps, but this is just a little one I thought I would present, that you can kind of catch on to, just like little things where you touch here. We're watching for flinching, go along, no flinching. He's been well acclimated pretty much. Even here I go to touch, he just did a little flinch there. And I call those gaps, like things, missing bits in training that it's important to get to, because we don't want them pinchy and flinchy and getting worried about being touched. Here we'll come to this side a little, touch. A lot of horses are pretty touchy in their stifle area. Here we're okay, but I want to keep brushing his tail, and I want to keep getting this to where if I come in here or brush like this, a lot of horses really like their butts scratched, and they will be quite obliging in a way where they'll pick their tail up and they'll just move it. See, I can't barely, he's so, usually this part would come up and sort of shove over a little, and he's not willing to do that yet. So it's a funny little gap. It's not that it's a huge deal. Boy, he's got a lot of growing to do, eh? But it's not a huge deal, but it's definitely one of those things. See, even here when I approach him a little quick, so there's that little gap. There's that little gap where he's like, you're making me worried. But I want him to understand that when I come in here like this and I bring this brush in here, and it's not just my hands, it's a tool, it's okay. Everything's fine. You'll be okay. And then we work, of course, on the other side. See how he switched sides for me? He says, it's no problem. I'm okay. And then we might address an area that I know he really likes to be scratched on. And down here, and it's getting quite shiny, isn't he? Anyhow, a little gap. Aw, you look so young here. I wonder what you're going to look like if I keep you around for a little while. Hello, friend. Yes, you're a good boy. There, I'll come in. Just keep brushing. He's come to me, so I'll keep brushing. He didn't escape. Anyhow, it's a little thing, little gap, so you can kind of catch as you come around. And I'll come around here and I'll just be sort of careless about it. I've been here before. He knows what I'm doing. But in the beginning, he's pretty flinchy and walked off a little, or escaped off a little. And it's a gap. It's a gap we want to fill. We want to get these things figured out. There, now his head doesn't move at all. Look at his eyeballs. He's a little droopy and sleepy, and he says, "It's cool, man. You can brush my mane all day long." Well, maybe I will. Okay, that's it. That's my. Let's see if he comes over. Let's be patient. See what he does. Gosh, he's good looking. Eh? Look at his face. Here he comes. Little shake. Oh, you messed up your forelock. Way to go. It's nice to see a little yawn out of him. A little stretch, little yawn, kind of sleepy. It's fantastic. We're best buds. So, yeah, so it feels good. Or we think it feels good. I think he'll make his way over. He's too busy yawning. He's too busy trying to get stuff maybe out of his mouth a little, or he's just stretching his jaw a little, or looks a little sleepy. Maybe he'll have a nap. Okay, that's it for this one. Little gaps, fill them in, and I'll talk a little later about some bigger gaps that he has due to the gaps that I have left. My fault, my impatience, I suppose. Nothing too bad, but stuff that's important that will lead to trouble later probably. And he's asleep. Sort of. Okay.